Brothers and sisters, friends and family, much love to you all. Thank you very, very much for spending this time hanging out, talking, discussing scriptures, discussing the laws of our Creator. For those who do not know what this channel is about, we believe that the first 5 books of scriptures are a foundational standpoint, guide point, rule set for life. We believe all of the scriptures, from the front of the book to the back, including all of the Apocrypha. And we believe that the way to the kingdom is by an obedient people. A people who are willing to take what our Creator has told us from the first page of scriptures and apply it to their lives. Apply it to their being. And right now we live in an age of complete darkness. We live in an antichrist world with a lot of darkness that is all around us. We live in a world that is packed full of lies and deception. They tell us one thing, they tell us another. They tell us tell-lie vision programming. Things right from the so-called horse's mouth. But our Creator has a different way. A different people. A people that are not tuned in to the tell-lie vision programming. The people that don't care what the so-called mainstream media are trying to program the people with. The people of our Creator are a free people. We're a free thinking people. We turn our TVs off. We turn the movies off. We turn all of this stuff off. If it is part of the Hollywood system, if it is part of the beast system, the world system, then we don't bring it into our lives because we know that it's unkodesh, it's unholy. If it is something that is darkness to the kingdom, then it is something that we need to avoid. And we won't know what to avoid unless we write these laws, statutes, and commandments that we find in the Torah on our heart, mind, and souls. Now, the Torah isn't anything more than the first 5 books of scriptures. For anybody that says there's any other Torah out there, there's no Torah, because Deuteronomy 6:4 says if we add to or take away from the Torah that we have before us, then we're breaking a commandment. So when we find doctrine that goes outside of what the Torah says, then we know it's false doctrine. If somebody says we should be worshiping on a Sunday because it's the Lord's day, but the Creator of the universe has said that I would like you to worship on the 7th day, which does fall on a Saturday, but it's a lot different. When our Creator says, I want you to keep my appointed times, and I don't want you to keep the world's pagan times. I don't want you to keep Easter. I don't want you to keep Christmas. I don't want you to keep Thanksgiving. I want you to keep Passover. I want you to keep Sukkot. I want you to keep the Day of Trumpets. I want you to keep days that are important to me, not days that are important to the world. And that is what the kingdom people are all about. We understand that the wishes and the will and the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator can be found in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. But then we go into the Basora. We go into Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then we have the Torah made flesh. The Son of the Most High, who says by his own words that he is the Son and not the Father. And the Father is our Creator. So we have a true father-son combo, and the Son was with the Father before creation. The Torah of our Creator, the most amazing words ever, were created before light and dark were ever brought forth. So the laws of our Creator, including Shabbat, is nothing new. It's new to us because most of us have been lied to all our lives. Most of us have been lied to by some guy that's taken a paycheck to lie to us. A guy that is so lazy that if he reads his scriptures and if he understands them, he does not produce the fruits that are valid for the kingdom. He produces other slaves. People that think the laws of our Creator have been nailed to a cross. That's complete blasphemy. That's sadness. That is something that is so horrifying and so hard to grasp the concept that people would want to take the almighty laws of our Creator and nail them to the cross because they believe that his Son, Messiah Yahushua, no J's in Hebrew, his name is not Jesus. The Hebrew man's name was Yahushua. So Yahushua, people think, came as a rebel. flying a rebel flag, coming as a law-breaking citizen of the new kingdom that has a new way. It's the grace method. It's the always saved method. It's the less than lukewarm lies that we're inheriting from these religions. There's not a single religion out of hundreds of thousands of them that ever comply with what the scriptures say. There's no person that would ever want to say, I am part of any religion. I would be careful even saying you're a part of Hebrew roots. Hebrew roots, guys, why do we need a flag? We know our father Abraham was a Hebrew. He got that name when he was crossing over. So if he was an a Hebrew, wouldn't we want to probably be called a Hebrew, a Torah keeper, a law keeper? Because those who say they're followers of our Messiah, Mashiach, they're lawless. In Matthew 7, Messiah says that lawless people go to hell. He says it twice. It's very dangerous when we know that there's a gate with a wide path of destruction and the lawless people are the ones that go to destruction. There's not going to be billions of people saved. There's going to be law keepers that have the faith of our Messiah. That's what Revelation 14:12 says. And I truly believe without a shadow of a doubt that we are in the end times. That we are there. There are people around and people who have been elected and things that have been done and things that have basically portrayed prophecy exactly as we thought they would go down. Most missed them. Most people didn't get it at all. But it doesn't matter because we don't need to understand these things if we understand the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. Guys, right before you is Yah Scriptures. It's the greatest English translation that you will find. I believe that without a shadow of a doubt. So many people are reading this right now. So there's been thousands, 10,000s, tens of thousands of downloads of the free versions of these. So many downloads, I don't even keep count anymore. It became so awesome that it just became innumerable, and I don't even look anymore. And so it is something that you guys can get the free version of. Go to Yah Scriptures, put a .com at the end of it. And we have a Bible ministry that was an accidental Bible ministry. We accidentally were born and accidentally have been doing what we've been doing. And I have embraced and literally fallen in love with a ton of brothers and sisters in prisons. Guys that are doomed. Guys that will probably die during the times that I'm sitting here talking to them. They will be murdered right before my eyes. People that are human beings, people that maybe or maybe not did horrendous crimes. But we're in there ministering to the darkest depths of the corners of the prison systems. And right now we're doing very good with Texas, the state of Texas. But there is a tremendous amount of prisons out there. We have a tremendous amount of people. We have a lot of prisoners that would love a pen pal. If you love the Creator of the universe, if you love His laws, statutes, and commandments, if you have some time that you can invest in people that have lost hope, this is a great opportunity. And you can email me at jboss@jasonboss.net. jboss@jasonboss.net. And yeah, guys, this is it. This book will have the restored names of our Creator, the restored names of His Son. 3 beautiful bookmarks. One is purple, yellow, and red. And then the blue Bible in of itself. These are all the colors of our Creator. And this is the name of His Son. Has a shofar on the back. And it is absolutely limited edition. But it'll always be free of downloads. So the limited is only the book. This will stay out forever and ever. Guys, we are into the Book of the Nazarene. And what you're looking at right here is you're looking at the Yah Scriptures Google app. It's 100% free of charge. You guys can download it if you have any Google devices whatsoever, TVs, tablets, phones, you name it. It's all there. So today we are beginning our very first chapter of the book of Khalidi. And the book of Khalidi is a book where our Messiah is speaking to us. He's giving us a tremendous amount of details, a lot of things that we've never ever heard, but a lot of things that we've heard well before over and over and over. And so it is a baraka, a blessing to actually be able to read the words of our Messiah. And if you guys get value out of this, I've said this before, but I get a tremendous amount more value out of this, reading this at this pace, reading it with you guys, reading to understand, reading to explain. This is a very good thing for all of us. And as we try to dial ourselves in, and ultimately, the bottom line is we're all trying to save our souls. The one thing that will live on beyond this flesh and blood and dust to dust from these bones that will become bones is we have our soul. And so we need to guard our soul. We need to protect our soul. We need to put our dukes up. We need to make sure that there's nothing of evil that can penetrate us in this end times world where it's going to get darker, it's going to get wilder, it's going to be wild. And I think it's here. I know people throughout the ages have said it's been here before, but I think it is. So these are good times that are, if you're being called to scriptures, if you're being called to these kind of studies, if you're just accidentally running into them and you find them just changing your life, then that's the hand of our Creator that's doing this. And it's Him to be thanked. It is Him that has brought you to where there's truth. And guys, don't trust me. Grab a copy of scriptures and start on page 1. We all need to read the Torah as a love letter from our Creator to us, as a complete battle arraignment. We're talking about the hardest possible steel that we could ever possibly have is found in the first 5 books of scriptures. And these words of our Messiah are bringing them to life. So this is where we're at. Yahushua came to a place where he had a kinsman and stayed with him. But on the second day, a large crowd gathered outside, so it was impossible to remain at shalom. These kinsmen were quiet people whose lives followed a tranquil course, where they conformed to the pattern of life imposed upon them. Hearing the clamor of the crowd, they became agitated and said, "Surely Yahushua must be out of his mind, and we should put restraint upon him. Otherwise we will be ridiculed." Just then, some important men from Jerusalem spoke to them, and they said among themselves, "This thing is beyond our control, but surely we shall never live normal lives again." You can see the life of Yahushua. You can see the life of our Messiah. From everything that I have read, our Messiah's life was always filled with issues. Like he was on a mission for his entire existence to change things and make things better. And so from the point that he's a superstar, he's a celebrity. Nobody has ever seen the actions and the deeds and the abilities and the heart and the mind and the soul of the Torah made flesh walking among us. And so there was no way to contain this clamor, and even just trying to chill out and be, chillax here, there, trying to get a little bit of a downtime. Everybody comes to the house and they start busting it up with the in-laws, with the kinsmen, right? And they're tripping out because they've never seen such an uproar. People talk all over. They didn't have cell phones back then. They had telephones. They used the foot leather express. Word traveled fast back in the day. Continuing on. The men from Jerusalem said to some people standing outside the doorway, "Go away. This man is possessed by the sovereign of evil Ruach and calls on him for help when casting out his subjects." Hearing this, Yahushua called to the men from Jerusalem, asking them to come outside to where he was. He then asked them, "Can evil cast out evil?" They said, "On this point, we have no clear guidance." Yahushua then said, "Surely, if a reign is divided against itself, it must collapse. Likewise, a household split internally soon falls apart. If evil powers counteract each other, are they not like men in an army who fall upon each other with swords, thereby rendering the army ineffective? Set evil in action against evil, and nothing except good can result." All right, we have heard this before, but Messiah just respins this completely out in such a way that is absolutely beautiful. And, there's a lot to be said. A reign divided against itself. We know from history that every time that there is internal issues, especially when reading scriptures, the reign of Yisrael and Judah, the northern and southern tribes, throughout the years was a Game of Thrones. It was households killing each other, people killing each other, sons killing each other, everybody jumping up to take that kingship. And that is so true, right? And none of these things survived. None of them survived very long. All of these reigns of the people of Israel died at a very, very short time. Now, the same goes for a household split internally, soon falls apart. That is the problem where in relationships and in households and in marriages where one spouse finds Torah, it separates the house. Things become different because the Torah walk is not like the same walk that we used to have. We realize and we understand very clearly that when we are doing things that are evil, that would make our Father upset, we try not to do them. And that is the point of the Torah, is that we know it. Why we're supposed to know it so well, as so much that it's frontless between our eyes. And you talk about it when you go to bed, when you rise up, when you're walking along the way, when you're chilling, when you're skiing down the trip. There's all sorts of times that we're called to talk about the Torah. It's not something that we just do on one day a week or one day a month or anything of the sort. The Torah is our life. It is a clothing, it is a cloak, it is part of our actions. And this, you can go to YahuwahAndTheTorah.net, and just put it like that, YHWH, and the TORAH.net. And we have all of this stuff out there that is available to you guys. One sec, guys. All right, sorry about that. Let's go quickly back to the household split soon internally falls apart, because I know a lot of you guys are in that and have come to Torah and your spouses are not, and there is division. We see it with the spouses, we see it with the in-laws, we see it with all sorts of things. The question is, what do we do about it? How do we go forward? And what is the Torah way to proceed? And there's a lot to be said that a Proverbs 31 woman would be able to sway or to change most men. And a good woman makes a good man better. And the whole division of it is that it is really a man and a woman thing. And if there is any way possible to ever get an alignment of theologies within the house, alignment of beliefs within the house, that is an amazing marriage. That is something that is simply amazing, but it's hard to do. And some people are never able to achieve it. And sometimes spouses aren't really interested in religion. Sometimes spouses don't really give a darn what the end is going to be like. It is something that we've read from the book of the Nazarene, that, our Creator puts that voice, we should be doing this or seek the Creator. There's something that draws us to our Creator if we will listen. Some people will never listen. So I suppose I don't have any really good advice for households that are split. Hopefully you guys don't fall apart. Hopefully you're able to find your way through it. But the number one thing we all must do is guard our souls and protect our souls. And so let's continue on. Real quick here, let me get this muted. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, and I don't think I even need to explain the whole thing about the army, right? I mean, obviously, an army that jumps in on itself is completely gone. And we've seen that over and over and over in the hands of our Creator, when it was pretty much over for Yisrael. And then all of a sudden, the armies that are coming against here, like hoof prints or armies or stuff that they can't figure out, it freaks them out. They start killing each other. Something happens in darkness. Our Creator does crazy stuff in mysterious ways. We do not want to be at the other side of Him. We want to be on the side of the Torah-keeping, Yah-loving, Messiah-loving, law-keeping people. That's who our family should be. Continuing on. 6. Yahushua then went into the house and told those inside he was going to the Hayekel in that place, the temple. And one said, "The clothes you wear are travel-stained. Will you enter the house of Elohim in these?" Yahushua replied, "When guests call upon a nobleman in his house, they must be fittingly attired. But when workmen call to make repairs, they enter in the clothes of their trade. This is amazing, right? This is amazing stuff. This is one thing that we do not get in regular scriptures, this particular little piece. And this is amazing. You know, this is the Torah made flesh. This is something that you didn't need a guy in king's clothing that is all spritzy and ritzy and rocking and rolling and looking like the eye of the beholder, right? Looking just beautiful. This is a journeyman. This is the Torah made flesh walking through. And things that we should all take note of is that we have commandments that somebody isn't greater than somebody else, right? It's the kingdom is an equalship. It is something that we love our people equally. And Messiah is the journeyman of the temple. He is literally the Son of the Most High that's there in the flesh. And you know, he doesn't need to look like a stud walking in this thing, because he is a stud. You know, he's a walking legend. He doesn't have to dress the part because he is the part. Yahushua spoke to the people in the temple, in the Hayekel, saying, the Parashim, the Pharisees, occupy the seats of the Nevi'im, and should therefore be obeyed. In general, they live good lives, and you would do well to follow their example. But with many, the goodness is only on the outside, and they are rotten within. Therefore, by exposing these, I serve those who are really good. This was interesting because it wasn't until I read the book of Khalidi that I actually gave any kind of, I don't know, understanding of what the Pharisees and the Sadducees were. I just thought they had completely gone rogue. But inside of this is very much different from the words of our Messiah. And so it gave me a whole different understanding that maybe they all weren't the great evil ones, the high-end ones. Just like today, not all the ones that are evil are the high-end. You know, it's usually the high-end ones that are evil in these regards. The understanding, I guess, is that, you know, my understanding of this is that I judged wrong when I judged the Pharisees and the Sadducees before actually reading this book, because I think I threw the baby out with the bathwater. 9, I tell you to beware of hypocrites, self-deceivers, and liars, and to be constantly on guard against those who in the name of righteousness would mislead you. Okay, guys, I want to put this warning out there, and I know this sounds, some people say it sounds trite, but I have come under the understanding that the larger Torah channels that are completely monetizing the word of our Creator, serving ads, sucking down donations. You know, I saw this. I saw these one guys, and they were doing super chats, and they were trying to debate the Trinity, but you had to send in a super chat to actually send in a question, and I found that very interesting. Be very, very careful. I know a lot of you guys out there are always looking on YouTube for people to listen to and trying to find truth. The truth is in the scriptures themselves. This is why Yah Scriptures is 100% provided free of charge. There's eSword modules, there's PDFs, there's Google Apps. We have given everything possibly that we can give away digitally that could get you guys to this. And it's now up to you guys to read these books and to study the Word of our Creator and to write His Torah on your heart, mind, and soul, so that you can't be defeated when somebody's trying to give you unclean food or something of the sort. Continuing on, he says, when inspired to become the voice of Elohim, the Nevi, the prophets, spoke of these. For he said, they praise me with their mouth and give homage with their lips, but I am not in their hearts. They worship only because this has been their upbringing. Such as these do not worship Yahuwah because they are good, but for the sake of reward and through fear of the unknown. These are people against whom I have set my face, for their goodness is fair outside, but rotten to the core. There's a lot of stuff to be said here, right? Are we only worshiping our Creator because of the fear of the unknown, or do we love our Creator because He gave us breath and gave us life and gave us an opportunity to walk this walk and to find a road back to Him? This is, I say life is simply amazing. I know there's a lot of people that would argue against that, but I praise our Creator every moment for every breath that I take. I've lived a very, very hard life before I ever came into Torah. I was a thug. I was a street thug. I was a criminal. I was a bad boy, and it took many, many years. That's where my wife met me. Was coming off the bad boy bus, and so I know what it's like to be a Torah-less, lawless individual, and we need to change this. We need to walk in the Torah. We need to walk in these laws. And had my mother brought Torah to me when I was a child, that I actually had value on the laws of our Creator. I grew up as a hardcore Christian. I had no value on any laws of our Creator because they don't matter in that so-called religion. And it's just a cult. It is a cult. At the end of the day, when you believe something that is going to do something that it's not going to do based upon a false doctrine, that's a cult. And so many of us have been stuck in this. And it changes. It makes it... It's something that all of us should be walking and talking. And so the love of our Creator must be something. It's like we should not be doing what we are doing because we fear the unknown. The unknown is going to come regardless. We can either be on the right side of eternity, or we can be on the wrong side of eternity. We can either walk with the laws, statutes, and commandments and have the faith of our Messiah, or we can be completely rotten to the core. And, rotten to the core is by default not walking with our Creator. When it is something that is when we live a Hollywood-style life, watching television programming and looking like the world, tasting like the world, smelling like the world, that's not the road to our Creator. The road to our Creator is realizing that we're not walking as it should be and making those corrections in our lives so that we can do that. It's not an immediate change. We have to get rid of leaven in our house little bits at a time, especially where we just wake up into Torah and we start figuring out that, wow, we almost got burned, and somehow we were able to wake up, we were able to figure out this whole religious system is a scam and come to our Creator. And most will never do it. Most are so buckled into their religion that any time I talk of anything like this, their eyes cross and their axes come out and they start chucking knives at me. It's just what it is. We need to seek our Creator where He's able to be found. Okay. 10, I think, is going to be the end of this. There are others who dig in the darkness, hoping their thoughts are unknown. They delve around in the filth within themselves and say, "This is pleasant, and none sees what I do." But the record of their thoughts is never lost. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. This is stuff that concerns me. This is things that I will, because I've lived the kind of life I've lived, the Torah-less life I've lived, the wild life I've lived, I have a lot of things that I've infused into my brain, right? The eyes are the windows to the soul. I've corrupted myself. I've corrupted my body. I've corrupted my mind. I've corrupted my heart. These are things that living in Babylon, we don't know it's pure corruption. We didn't know. It's just what was on TV. We didn't know it was wrong. So I will oftentimes have a dark thought, and it'll be a dark thing, and I will have to immediately ask Yah, it's like, please, Father, please strike this from my mind, strike this from my thoughts. Please do not let me have this. There are things within that, and this is why we need to be good with what we input. What we eat is what basically comes out of us, our health. We eat GMOs, we become sick. This is the same. We ingest evil into our eyes, our mind, our heart, our brains, our body gets sick. Physically, we still get sick, but spiritually we're just ralphing inside. And so we need to understand that our thoughts are recorded. If we can imagine the greatest media device ever, kabillions of petabytes per person, is our thoughts and our things being recorded on the records of the Shamayim. This is what humanity is about. This is what this testing is about. This is why we need a Messiah. This is why we need some way to forgive, to atone for our sins. And since we don't have a Levitical priesthood, and we don't need one, we have our Messiah. And that Messiah, by his death, burial, and resurrection, has defeated that spiritual curse of the death of the Torah, because every single time that I've broken Torah throughout life, I am accountable for this. We need a Messiah. We need a Savior. And with one without the other is a tough road. If we didn't have a Messiah and we didn't have a Levitical priesthood and we die in our sins, what then? What happens? So, and then what happens if we have a Messiah and all we have is we hope this guy is going to give us grace and love, when he tells us very clearly that his laws, the laws of his dad, are what we need to be writing on our heart, mind, and soul, and what we need to live by. And he says those who do not live by the Torah will be sent to hell. Matthew 7 says that. Continuing on. So we don't want to delve around in our filth, right? We don't want to delve around in our mind. We need to clear our minds. We need to get our hearts right. Yet these, concealing what lies within, set themselves up as leaders of the people, who, finding their troubles multiplied, look vainly for the cause. Yet the people only get the leaders they deserve. For those who will only serve goodness cannot be misled by evil. Guys, we have truly gotten the leaders we deserve. Without a shadow of a doubt, if you're looking for somebody that absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, fits the Antichrist through every single thing and has fulfilled every last bit of prophecy, he just got elected. And so if you're looking, and if that triggers you and that makes you angry, understand this man can do no wrong. And when you look at his history and you look at the rest of this, we are in a troubled time. We are in some very, very dark times. This is why we need to bring the light of the Torah into our lives. This is why we need to get grounded, based, ready to go, hands up, chin down, and be ready to take the blows that Hasatan and the demons want to give the Torah keepers. As a Torah keeper, we are spiritually defended from a complete set of darkness, but we're still hated. And so every last opportunity that Hasatan can do that can hurt us, he's going to do. That's his goal. That's his mission. If somebody has chosen the laws of our Creator and abandoned the Christian rhetoric, that's going to take him off. He hates that. Why? Because he's the opposite of this. He's a lawbreaker. And nobody knows the word of our Creator better than Satan. Satan has been around. He knows exactly what it says and what it's all about. And he has actively, without a shadow of a doubt, violated it all. And it's a test of good versus evil. It is a test of humanity. It is a test of those who are willing to bow their knees to a higher power and a higher understanding of a way of life. The way of life is the Torah. And when we involve ourselves in this, when we immerse ourselves into this, then all of a sudden, it's better. Life is better. You have a guide in life. You have supernatural ninjas that are ready to defend you, where the ones who are lawless, they don't have that same kind of protection. They don't have that same kind of stuff. Guys, with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love to y'all. I'm out.